Okay, Selina, welcome. Good to see you. Selina Bliss is going to talk to you. She's running for the House in LD1.
Yeah, great crowd tonight. Good to see everyone. Thank you, Dwight and Andrea, and thank you to Blake Masters for not showing up so we could take advantage of this. Yeah, anytime we can get out and get the word out on our campaigns, that's a good thing. So we appreciate it. You guys got some big shoes to fill with Brenda Barton and Walt Blackman. Yeah, they've been great. They've been very free with their advice, so I really respect them, and I want to take the baton from them and run with it. So I'm not going to waste your time. I passed out my palm card. I've got 6 items here, very similar to what you're hearing, but these folks are very important items. There'll be a little quiz here before you leave, but it's open book. First and foremost, I'm going to start right with these, and let's check them off. I want to say that we, the people, are pissed off because these 6 things, we've got to address these before we can look at our local issues. Securing the border, you heard some talk about that. I like what Noel Campbell said about there's certain lands we can't touch. We have 372 miles of border we have to secure, or we don't have a country. So what I would like to see is some more coordination with our local resources, our state resources, in other words, our sheriff department, working with the feds, creating choke points where we can bring where the illegal immigration is occurring, we can then increase our trespass laws. That's something the state can do, because I understand it's a federal issue with the border. So I look at what can the state do. We can look at our sheriff's office, change our trespass laws to increase them, and use those to divert the illegal immigration and shut down the border. So I realize it's a federal issue, but there is more the state can do, and I'm looking forward to stepping up on that point. Restoring election integrity. Folks, it should be easy to vote and hard to cheat. So we've got some good changes coming, but I'm really concerned when I hear about the touch screens. I'm also, in addition to the signatures, going to take that back to our county recorder. I was just in yesterday visiting 2 of our board supervisors, and I'm seeing Donna Michaels, who's our 5th supervisor that represents you in this area. I've got my appointment with her in 2 weeks. She keeps pushing me back. She must know I'm on to her for something. So I'll address that as well. I believe we need to take and aim at these things in a multi-pronged approach. Speaking of which, we need to provide universal ID for no matter how you vote, whether it's mail-in or in person. Currently, if you do mail-in vote, you do not have to show an ID. So this is a bipartisan issue. There's been surveys that the Republicans and Democrats agree that they want voter ID to make our elections, our confidence in our elections. So what I have here, and Dwight, notice the shirt he's wearing, the voter ID, yeah, it matches the palm card. We've got from the Arizona Free Enterprise a citizens initiative where you can help get on the ballot to decide that voter ID is very important. So I have it here for signatures. If you're interested in participating in that, it's over 250,000 signatures we need by July just to get that on the ballot so we can all have input on demanding voter ID. Protecting our Second Amendment, this is my strong point where actions speak louder than words. I'm a volunteer lobbyist on the Arizona State Rifle and Pistol Association. I'm currently working on legislation that we're seeing come through committee. I'll be testifying on Monday in the Military Committee and Public Safety and Affairs on a bill that's written to bring an elective for high school kids to learn firearm safety. So we'll reduce the amount of accidental gunshot injuries. So looking forward to that. Appreciate it. I also am a member of the Well-Armed Women, both the Chino Valley and Gunsight chapters. So I believe in empowerment through education. What I've seen is that people fear what they don't understand. So I have a joke that's not really funny, but if you want to get the Democrats to understand the importance of our Second Amendment, take them to the range. I mean it. If you take a Democrat out shooting, you can empower them through education to understand why it's so important that we can all defend ourselves and be our own first responder. So let's meet out on the range. Economic opportunity, that includes less government regulation and reduced taxation. So what I'd like to see is, I haven't heard yet anyone talk about the government overreach when it comes to unconstitutional vaccine mandates. So we need to back off on that. Then not only is that a 10th Amendment state issue, but it's a violation of our 5th and 14th Amendment issues in that no person should be deprived of life, liberty, or property or be discriminated against. So I believe in medical freedom. School choice, you heard some of that here tonight about critical race theory. I want to add to that, school choice is really parent choice in that it's about educational freedom, and parents are not domestic terrorists. Parents do have a Bill of Rights since 2010 passed in the Arizona legislature, so we need to honor that and not be infringed upon by our government. Pro-life, very, very important as a practicing Catholic. Yes, thank you. Roe versus Wade, I'm looking forward to the Supreme Court overturning that, and then that will become a state issue. So we're going to need to roll up our sleeves as state legislators and hit the ground running, creating new laws to protect our unborn. So fortunately, we have on the books since 1901 by our territorial capital a law that if a person's to perform an abortion, they will go to prison for 2 to 5 years. Now that will kick in as soon as Roe versus Wade is overturned, but we're going to see a rush of activity and we need to be ready. So in addition to these 6 things here that are very important, we have some local issues that we need to address. What I'm hearing from you guys is that short-term rentals or the party houses is a big deal in Sedona. Yeah, that's an East County issue. So I'm hearing there's some improvement. I'm seeing some bills giving the rights back to the cities and municipalities, but I'm hearing there's more work to be done. Another piece of legislation we need to really watch next week, it's going through committee, and that is accountability for fentanyl overdoses. That's going to be in committee in the judiciary this Wednesday. We are calling that the Ashley Dunn Act, named after a victim of an accidental fentanyl overdose in the Prescott Valley area. So a lot of work to be done in that area. 2021, I didn't even have to write it down because it's easy to remember. House Bill 2021. Yeah, the Vice Mayor of Prescott Valley is coordinating speakers to go on request to speak, but to actually go down and speak in person, and it'll mostly be the families that will speak to that, so it's really... Yeah. Yeah, Sheila Polk, Matt Force is behind that to increase the criminal offense for fentanyl overdoses. Right now, what drug dealers are doing is they're making meth look like fentanyl because they know that there's less of a criminal fine, if you will, or time in prison for fentanyl than meth. So there's an unequal playing field, and they know how to manipulate the system. So we got to close that loophole. Walt Blackman, yes, is the chair of the Judiciary Committee, so he's going to be a big part of that, and lots of co-sponsors on that one. So we've got other issues. There's challenges to our growth in water. When it comes to water, all we have is all we got. So we're going to have to look at the drought contingency plan. The trigger occurred sooner than we thought it would. The Arizona Department of Water Resources, our proportionment, our allotment, I feel as a state we need to relook at what we're allotted. Arizona only gets 17% of the Colorado River water. Now that doesn't affect us up here, but I'm looking at statewide and then regional. We've got our active management area, we've got our Verde River, we've got surface water, groundwater, and then alternatives to those water sources. Search and rescue. I've been active with the Yavapai County Search and Rescue for 8 years now. We get a lot of activity over here in the Red Rocks of Sedona by our tourists. But I feel there's better ways, we could, lots of calls over here, that we could look at how we fund our volunteer units with the Sheriff's Office. And that would have to do with pass-through funding. Other states do it. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just look at what other states are doing and use template legislation. Off-road vehicles, it's funny you mentioned that. I was down visiting with the Arizona Farm Bureau, and it was Coconino County that informed me when I asked them what's top of mind, and it was the damage done to the ranches and the private property by off-road vehicles. So some ideas there, what we could do, but that was my shopping list, so I see now I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and not the issues. I flipped this a little because I wanted you to hear the issues before you probably scratch your head and go, who is she? So what I wanted to share with you is why I'm running. Oh, 2 minutes, perfect. And that's out of care and concern for this state and this district. And I really want to see Arizona reach its full potential. You have 2 positions in the House. Every other year, you get to pick the team. So I really want to make sure you pick the team. And if you look at me, I'm an advocate. I'm a natural-born advocate. I've been a nurse for 36 years. The last 26, I also taught nursing at Yavapai College. So I spent half my work week on the Verde side as well as the other half on the Prescott side with the clinical areas and in teaching in the classroom. So I'm very familiar with the healthcare system on the east and west side of the campus. I'm engaged in the community. I've lived in the Prescott-Chino area for 51 years, so I have the home court advantage. I was raised here, raised my family. We have 1 daughter, and been married 28 years. Now my husband and I are both retired, and we're enjoying our lives. I'm active in various civic and political organizations, including the Yavapai County Republican Party, Arizona State Federation of Republican Women, and the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue. I am committed to conservative causes. I also believe the Constitution was divinely inspired by God, and that's what inspires me. And I'm passionate about my constitutional conservativeness. I'm dedicated to faith, family, and freedom. To me, that's not a tagline, that's a lifeline. Been a practicing Catholic, so the pro-life issues are very important. And finally, I've been told you're the candidate that cares, and I truly believe that comes natural to me. So what I love about Arizona is our fierce independence, standing up for what's right, and keeping our state great. It's not about me, it's about we. That's you and us. So think about who you want to represent you. At this point, we want you to go to our websites, check out our campaigns. You've got our palm cards. You mentioned the money. Some of us are finishing on our signatures, are going to turn them in soon, and now are looking to support. So compare all the candidates, see what you've got, and I appreciate this time. Thank you, Andrea.